Hello, hello, hello. I got a chart. This is the week of May 4th and the following 7 days. Let's talk about it. And there it is. May 4th, following 7 days, we have Pluto, Uranus on the screen. And there's the big three. And you see on the chart, Uranus and Gemini at 0 degrees. And this energy talks about exciting, new, different, unique. That's Uranus, waking us up, to put it simply. It's to shake up your shit. Stuff that might have been sitting around for a while that's gotten old and stale. The same old, same old. Uranus comes along and says, but we have to make some changes. New thoughts, new ideas, new forms of communication. This is writing, this is sales, this is business and trade. Your siblings, your coworkers, your neighbors. So new people in your life, new communications in your life. Your Gemini energy in your chart is going to be accelerated. It's like Gemini on rocket fuel because Uranus brings that to it. This is like a lightning bolt. This is air. So it's that mixture. You know how before a storm up in the sky, if you go outside, like before it actually begins, it's kind of like on its way. It's almost like you can feel the electricity in the air, like you can feel it. And it feels so alive. It just feels like it's bzzz, like you can just feel it. And that's this energy, is our thoughts, our mind, the way I think, the way I talk. It's our curiosity and what we want to learn about. So what we're communicating, what we're taking in, what we're putting back out and pressing send and sharing. This can be shocking because that's Uranian energy. It's the ruler of upsets. It's the ruler of we broke the mold and we're doing it a new way. It ain't never been done this way before. So this definitely would trigger social media energy, everything digital. AI in schools and education is big here. I do use some AI and strictly just images for my videos. I started getting an email or emails asking me if I needed help studying and would I like help getting ready for finals. And I'm thinking, oh, no, I'm not taking finals. And I thought, well, I wonder what this looks like. Where does this lead to? So I pressed the button just to see what all that looks like. And AI is asking students to drop their course material right into their software. So I got to thinking like, whoa, that's kind of freaky because the course material would be the material that the teacher created, right? I mean, it's really wild. So I thought that's kind of nutty. So I mentioned it to somebody and I said, what do you think about this? Are you aware? I said, I just found this out. Take a look. So we kind of explored it together. The teacher immediately was just like, holy shit. Holy shit. That means somebody can just, yeah, they're just stealing my shit, basically. Taking what I've took the time to create. This is copyrighted material. Yeah, agree. The upside of that would be that I would feel better about it knowing it was course material from a real teacher at a college level education where it was getting information from, as opposed to just any Joe schmoes, just, typing in whatever and the AI like, oh, okay, thank you, and taking it as though it's truth, right? So it can be it can be that plus many, many more things, but you can be sure that your mind and your like your thirst, your curiosity level, like your super detective super knows of, oh, I want to know this. You will be all of a sudden, it's like someone will flip a switch and it'll be turned on. So all you're looking is for where's the Gemini energy in your chart, and more specifically, where's the 0 degrees, 0 and 1 degrees, because this is where this is happening for you right now, where that area of life literally gets a jolt and lights up. This connection between Pluto, between Neptune, and Pluto, Neptune, and Uranian energy makes that mini trine with these huge planets. And this is big because we think of new difference, authority figures, group energy, the internet, technology, shocks and surprises, business and trade. We think of government. We think of foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages, beliefs, beliefs about the future, communication. We think of religion, even because now we got Neptune at 3 degrees. So music and sound, and that's my phone. Hold on. And this is nobody. All right. I always got to check to see if it's my mom or her nurse or okay. It's all good. That was a spam call. So the Neptune, religion, music, sound, faith, movies, public figures, but the silver screen and politicians is pretty prominent. And then the connection to Pluto, which is change. So you have that strong connection, that strong air trine between Uranian energy and Pluto energy, which is deep changes on a deep level. And it's over here in Gemini. Gemini energy, our thoughts, the way we talk, the way we communicate, relate. And of course, the thing in common is business and trade. But what about friends and group energy, learning and teaching, and what we talk about? Remember, this wants to show us the truth. It wants to reveal the truth and the truths about group energy. The Neptune energy, we're going to go to that because this 3 degrees, music and sound and communication. And the Neptune can be deceptive. So this is a time where this 3 degrees, the best way to utilize this, because Neptune is all about creativity and it's about illusions and delusions and it's about make believe. That's what it's for, right? Making music, acting, putting on a performance, a show, pretend, like that's what that energy is for. So you want to be just extra cautious that at the time you're using this for creative endeavors, even if it's just like Calgon, take me away, crank up the music type of thing, but not so much in terms of taking action based on justice, because it's in that Aries energy of war and fight, not just sitting around or sitting on my hands, but I'm going to do something about it. And you see Pallas Athena's right there. And she's the thinker. She's the strategizer. So she's also not going to want to just sit. She's being smart, but she's under the influence of Neptune when she's this close. So we have to wait for that to separate, because once she pulls away from Neptune, she'll be functioning a whole heck of a lot better. She'll be that really creative, strategic, clear thinker and communicator, and then understanding what is the next correct step to take. At the same time, the nodes are now at 6 degrees. That 6 degrees is very practical energy. It is about my day-to-day routines and talking and thinking. And this is like strong Virgo energy, strong Virgo qualities where things just should make sense. This can have to do with jobs as well. So your daily routines, this is domestic, so home and work. This can bring about a superpower, but it can also bring about a release. There might be additional layoffs. There might be more people getting, just that little notice of we're downsizing or whatever. That's a possibility with this. The practicality of Virgo, which says I have options, I have a lot of skills, and Virgo is wonderful at pivoting. Not to say that makes it easy. I understand it won't, but that's the whole goal here, is to just know how to be flexible and pivot. Pluto retrograde at 5 degrees and 30 minutes begins on the 6th. This is intensifying the group energy, the authoritarian energy. So we might find people who are in positions of power where they're really like putting their hooves, so to speak, being a little bit more stubborn and kind of expanding their power even more, showing, hey, I'm in charge. There's nothing you can do about it. This can also be great for group energy, whether it's unions, people who are literally rebelling and protesting because Pluto brings that power. So that goes both ways. So remember, the retrograde is when things intensify even more. And that begins on the 6th, and it will take us, Pluto retrogrades all the way back to 3 degrees. And that does not get there. It stops at 3 degrees and 4 minutes. That doesn't get there until the 16th of October. So now we've got the nodes. Pluto's retrograding, and we have the nodes dropping down to 5 degrees. Now, this 5 degrees is coming up again, right? Because that's where the Pluto retrograde begins. 5 is authority figures. It's also children, fun, joy, creativity. Just think Leo energy, think of the sun, think of somebody who's in charge, calling the shots. Think of how can I have a good time? How can I find my happy place? The beauty is at the 5 degrees, hopefully, we can find more ways to connect to our inner child, find more ways where we can have a good time and find something to laugh about, have a little bit more humor. Because it might be humor that's needed to get us through some more changing times because of the Pluto going through Aquarian energy. Okay, so the South Node at 5 degrees may bring back things from the past. This could even be romance. So in other words, if you had romantic partners, this South Node in Virgo at 5 degrees, domestic energy, someone who I once lived with, somebody like Virgo qualities, somebody I once worked with, like this can be that. This can be that familiar territory because these nodes are nodes of fate. It's not just like the soul stuff. They bring on opportunities, relationships, events. You might bump into somebody. Like that can happen under this, especially because Pluto goes retrograde. Pluto's also about the past. It's also about that soul memory and soul history. So the soul stuff and the history in the past is really strong this week. Jupiter's making a move. It begins the week at 19. It begins the week at a compromised degree, which has been really important in terms of global events. And Jupiter is judges, it's authority figures. Jupiter is what we're hoping for our future. It gives us that emotional intellect, family and home and mom, but my homeland, my mother country, like all of that's part of this. So the nurturing ability, the ability to compromise, May 8th, it goes to a Scorpio degree. So that's going to change the flavor a whole lot this week. May 8th, we've got a mixture, an enhancing of emotions and the past and trauma and tragic stuff, right? So some folks may have some strong intuitions, some strong psychic energy, connecting the dots of things from childhood to present day vulnerabilities and scars. That's a real good possibility when Jupiter goes to 20. The values, the money, what it is that we desire. It's the Venus energy in Gemini of learning, of talking, and of communication. This is going to be important because we have Taurus season going on. You see this? Taurus season is going to carry us through the month of May. And here, or at least half of it, we have Mercury at 2 and the Sun at 14. So Venus is talking. Communicating is really important to her. So this means that this Mercury over here in Taurus, we're going to be talking and communicating about what? Money and values. And also with people who we truly, truly are close to, people we love, people who we want to take care of in our lives. That's Taurus energy, very loyal energy. But banking and finances will be part of the story. A kind of an alert with Mars touching in with Eris. Mars and Eris are siblings. They're both in Aries. They're really strong. So from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the weekend, we have Mars conjunct Eris, conjunct Hercules in Aries, conjunct Chiron, the wounds, the wounded, the childhood wounds. And there's a big communication going on. So I think in terms of what we're hearing about, feminine energy, wounds from the past, wounds with soldiers likely, people from war, but even before that, right? Feminine energy that women can receive in a whole lot of ways. This will be prominent at this time, and there might be some aggressive, assertive actions being taken because Eris is angry. She's a female Mars, and she doesn't want to just sit still. She's going to talk about it. She might protest, she might march, she might do whatever she's got to do, but she's going to be paired up with Martian energy. So together they're like tag teaming is what that means. So whatever is going on, the assertiveness to want to fight and start something. Remember, Mars needs a mission, right? Aries energy in general feels like it has to be on a mission. So you might want to just keep that in mind for folks who have anything in Cancer energy, and Capricorn energy, and even Libra energy. It's going to be like high alert time from like if you've got anything from 23 all the way to 29 degrees of Aries. So 23 to 29 degrees of the cardinal signs, it could be a hot time.